everyone is fighting ISIS. With the advent of the internet, the nature of terrorism is changing. Work 19 of the Atlantic Council explains that ISIS fundamentally relied on the internet to communicate, recruit, and hold information. Indeed, Cohen of Foreign Affairs in 2015 explains that the next prominent terrorist organization is even more aligned with the digital world. Fortunately, offensive cyber operations combat terrorists online. According to Temple 19 of NPR, American OCOs hacked within 10 servers responsible for ISIS's finances, communication, and content distribution, changing pathways and deleting content. ISIS peaks fell by 75% and filled with online control, leaving its media operations a shadow of its former self. The impact is stabilizing Iraq and Syria. Rogers 19 explains that OCOs have helped the United States take back 98% of ISIS's territory, freeing millions from slavery and halting the genocide of religious minorities. Contention 2 is another option. Offensive cyber operations allow the United States to retaliate without starting actual conflict. January 19 of the Atlantic Council explains that after Iran shot down an American surveillance drone, Donald Trump came within minutes of authorizing a retaliatory airstrike. Fortunately, he responded with a cyber attack instead, preventing likely conventional escalation from Iran. Reducing tensions with Iran is important given its control of the Strait of Hormuz, where 30% of the world's oil runs through. Indeed, Canada CNBC finds that even a risk of a U.S. attack on Iran increases oil prices by 5%. This is historically true, as S&P Global explains that in 2008, just the threat of Iran closing the strait sent oil prices skyrocketing to $137 a barrel. Consequently, Christopher 19 of CNBC finds that any military upset could send oil prices to $150 to $200 a barrel. The impact is a food crisis. High fuel prices increase the price of food because shipping costs increase, and cereals, grains, and wheat are risen into biofuels. This is why the World Bank explains that the oil price spike in 2008 escalated food prices, pushing 130 million people into poverty. Contention 3 is deterrence. Currently, our infrastructure and military systems are becoming increasingly connected, which is why Sharma 10 of UC Santa Cruz argues that cyber will become the primary means of warfare. Indeed, with radar, communication, interoperability being crucial parts of any military, a strong cyber force is necessary as well. Already, Donnelly 19 of S&P Global explains that the American military and infrastructure are vulnerable to Chinese and Russian cyber attacks, which can cause weapons, navigation systems, and supply chains to fail. Thus, the United States needs to keep up, ensuring a balance of power that prevents one-sided aggression. Giving up offensive cyber operations would be like throwing away our Air Force or nuclear weapons in the hopes that our enemies would follow suit. The effects of losing cyber weapons would be disastrous, as Magus 11 of the University of Copenhagen writes that countries would continue developing cyber to challenge America using their own cyber superiority to deter us. The impact is global destabilization. Hansen from Stanford University finds that should the United States power slip, Russia would aggress towards Eastern Europe, North Korea towards South Korea, China towards Taiwan, and Pakistan towards India. Worldwide conflicts would drastically increase, potentially causing trillions of economic damages and millions of deaths. Moreover, declines in American power would cause many other countries to spend more on their conventional and cyber military, as it loses confidence in America, and Russia and China become more ambitious. This would produce devastating effects to the global economy, as social spending is cut and tension increase. Thus, Agostino 17 from the University of Rome finds that a 1% increase in military spending as a percent of GDP decreases overall GDP by 8.5% in the long run, trapping hundreds of millions in poverty. Thus, we affirm.
Attention 1 is posted with there. According to NPR, recent American cyber attacks against Russia have prompted Moscow to pass legislation this year to secure Russia's internet from external attacks by moving 95% of its internet activity onto domestic servers by the end of 2020, up from 40% in 2017. Human Rights Watch finds that this law will allow the Russian government to censor and surveil much more easily. They can access domestic servers freely, but requires a court order for foreign ones. The Atlantic reports that American cyber attacks gave clean enough public support to curtail internet freedom in this way, with 60% Russians supporting the bill. Ramesh of Michigan writes that as this law has begun to take effect, internet censorship has spiked, doubling over the course of last year. Problematically, censorship has stymied political participation, as citizens lose access to unbiased information and struggle to coordinate protests. The IIT finds that politically inactive citizens allow corruption to fester, every one standard deviation rising in Russian internet censorship, increasing corruption 34%. Poor governance wastes tax dollars and scares off investors, with the GBR finding that every 1% increase in Russian corruption produces the income growth of the poorest quintile by 8%. The IP then contextualizes this effect, finding that if Russia had stemmed the growth of corruption over the last decade, its economy would be $2.1 trillion wealthier and 16% larger today. Contention 2 is the worldwide threat to the social safety net. Politico reports that today, the U.S. is the most advanced cyber arsenal, accounting for the majority of all public and private cybersecurity spending globally. The Wall Street Journal reports that America's development of cyber weapons has sparked an arms race, as nations around the world develop cyber tech to protect themselves from the U.S. and build a credible deterrent against it. According to Tech Radar, American adversaries in the Middle East and North Africa have felt especially threatened, as they've witnessed U.S.-launched cyber attacks in the region. Indeed, Radcliffe of the University of Oregon reports that Middle Eastern states have poured over $12 billion into cyber tech annually, on average representing 15% of their military budgets. America's focus on offensive cyber operations will accelerate regional military spending in two ways. First is cyber sales. Charity of Georgetown reports that under the Trump administration, the U.S. has begun selling cyber weapons to allies in the Middle East and North Africa. Problematically, Smeeth of Oxford writes that as U.S. allies attain more expensive cyber tech, they must invest more training specialists and expanding their cyber commands. Meanwhile, Charity reports that U.S. adversaries feel threatened when their neighbors receive cyber weapons, causing them to spend more on their own so that they're not left vulnerable to an asymmetric attack by a U.S. ally. Cobb quantifies this effect, finding that for every 1% increase in a Middle Eastern country's perception of an external threat, it spends an additional 3% on its military. Second is easier attacks. According to Foreign Policy magazine, the Trump administration has lowered the standards of cyber engagement, with the U.S. now conducting the majority of all cyber attacks globally at a 4 times faster rate than previous administrations. To protect themselves, Craig of the Center on Foreign Relations reports that U.S. adversaries have doubled down on cyber spending. Craig quantifies this effect, finding that experiencing a U.S. cyber attack triples the probability that a nation will lose its own cyber warfare capabilities. All in all, U.S. cyber warfare is causing an arms race in the Middle East and North Africa, ramping up total military spending across the region. Radcliffe reports that Middle Eastern cybersecurity spending is projected to double by 2024 and consume $24 billion of public expenditures. For this reason, a lot estimates that total military spending in the Middle East will rise by 5 to 7% each year over the next decade. The impact of all this is reversing development, as Guzela Venkayu finds that Middle Eastern and North African states tend to cut social programs to pay for heightened military budgets, as they're largely unable to access credit markets that would otherwise allow them to run deficits. This trade-off is particularly harmful in that region of the world, where the UN reports that nearly half the population is impoverished and social programs are an essential lifeline, protecting 4 out of every 10 people from destitution and helping 58 million escape from poverty every year. Military spending, however, derails this progress, as the Son of the Review of Public Economics finds that, after controlling for conflict, every 10% rise in military spending increases poverty by 9.8%, as millions lose access to pensions, education, and healthcare. Thus, we negate.
Yeah. So on your argument about how Russia needs to get like a court order internationally with like foreign servers and like inspect them, what would happen if Russia just went ahead without getting this court order?
What would happen if they can't access them with an international court order that like gives them technical access? Like they get a specific code that allows them to access the server. Can I ask you a question? Okay, so you tell us that without U.S. cyber operations, we're going to see Russia aggress in Eastern Europe, China aggress against Taiwan. I want to first ask you about Russia. So where and how is Russia going to aggress more in Eastern Europe if we don't have cyber operations?
Well, Russia's planning to like take over some nations in Scandinavia.
Why?
That's like you have evidence that that's like the next area they want to take over.
They just want to like take over.
Russia likes to take over areas because like different areas.
Okay, where's the only area that they've taken over in Eastern Europe so far?
Like they tried to like take over parts of Ukraine, right?
Yeah, the only area in Ukraine that they took over was Crimea.
Yeah.
Why was Crimea? And the reason why is because Crimea was important strategically to them. Was the only way that they could get a deep water port on the Black Sea and trade through the Mediterranean Ocean and reach like global commercial markets. So why do they want to take over random territory in North Africa?
As I said earlier, Russia like wants to take over territory in order to create like national, like these economic.
But it's gonna be so hard to occupy that territory. These people have like long-lasting resentment of the Soviet Union and Russia now. What's the tangible benefit Russia gets from taking over these hostile countries?
Well, actually, lots of areas have like large percentages of populations that are like originally Russian. Like some of the areas they trying to take over, like 1/3 of them are actually just Russian immigrants.
Yeah, but then you get the same situation in Eastern Ukraine, which is just a drawn-out civil war that gives them no benefit. The only reason they intervened in Ukraine was to take over Crimea, which I explained was for commercial reasons.
Okay, we're probably going to dispute that. Can I take a question?
Sure.
Alright. So on your argument on like you can take another question.
Okay, tell me about China and Taiwan. So how is China going to aggress against Taiwan?
Well, China's even more aggressive than South China Sea.
Can you explain how
Like
exactly?
move their gun boats closer to
Okay,
them
so what's the main way that we deter China in that region of the world?
with boats.
That's right, we use boats. We use freedom of navigation operations.
Well, we don't
That's
have
entirely
boats.
unrelated to cyber operations.
Well, they could hack our boats.
Yeah. Wait, so why aren't they hacking our boats now? We're
We have
patrolling now.
deterrence. That's our argument.
We're gonna then hack their hackers that hack our votes?
No, if they hack our votes, we'll just hack theirs. That's
You have evidence that says that they're gonna hack our votes?
Well, they can hack votes. Just like shut down the engine or something. I'm no mechanic, but it sounds very plausible.
Okay, so other examples besides Russia aggressing Europe and China aggressing Taiwan.
Yeah.
What are they?
North Korea, Pakistan.
Okay. Alright, we don't have enough time to talk about this.
Is everyone ready? Okay. So, let's start on their contention one. Their argument is that Russia only puts servers offline because it's very quickly popular from the United States attacks. However, number one, we say that Russia has different ways to scapegoat the United States, so they take off the servers in either world. But number two, Russia has an incentive to censor their people. They know that they have some economic problems, and they want to increase their political popularity, so they're probably going to censor their people in either world. They're going to get this bill passed because the entire party knows it's probably pretty bad if these people go out and be angry. Then they say that if Russia needs to get these people, they need a court order. Russia does not care about this court order. They would probably just find these 10 people that they might have actually done this kind of protest and probably just put them in jail anyway. In fact, you can probably turn this against my opponents because when they can actually have the servers on their own place, they can be more precise and don't arrest all 10 of the people. Then under impact, all of their impact isn't very, very clear. They say a 1 standard deviation increase in corruption or censorship leads to all of this corruption and things like that. However, Russia is already very controlled by Putin, and we say the censorship is already very high. Insofar as it's very, very high, these marginal analyses don't make as much sense because the corruption is already very, very high. Then under second contention, the first problem here is according to George Mason University in 2014, our offensive cyber operations and their allies don't even develop them themselves. This makes a lot of sense because these countries don't spend as much, so we're actually automatically using it and turn against them. Number two, our argument on instability and on global oil prices outweighs. First of all is on magnitude, because their argument is only on cyber spending, which they say is around 5% of global military spending. It's a very, very small portion of global military spending. Things like oil, and also we say that in terms of increased aggression, will impact all kinds of military spending, all kinds of poverty. So we're outweighing on magnitude. And then second of all is on scope, because they don't tell you how many of these countries actually are getting hacked by the United States right now. Right, the United States primarily hacks countries like Iran, Russia, China, etc. We're not hacking the vast majority of North Africa and the Middle East. So we say it's highly unlikely. Moving on to their specifics. So their evidence, what they say on their first argument on cyber cells, is not very good. First of all, you can turn it against them, because according to first of all, you can turn it against them. And the reason why is that if these countries are buying from the United States, they're probably buying from the United States because it's cheaper to get weapons from the United States as opposed to developing their own. It's much better for them. Because in either world, they're going to realize that getting these weapons is absolutely necessary. Number two, actually getting these weapons might be a good thing. Because once you're able to develop your cybersecurity and also get new weapons, you're also able to better understand vulnerabilities. And already we're seeing that cyber is being a new space that these countries need to defend themselves in. For example, according to Sing 18 of UC Berkeley, in Asia, 7% of GDP is lost every year simply to cybercrime. So increasing cybersecurity could be a good thing for these countries because they know that this cybersecurity is absolutely crucial to protecting their own finance system. Moreover, we would say these countries can buy from other people as well. For example, according to Reuploading politics in 2018, Russia, China, and Iran all employ tons of independent hackers to do their own cybersecurity. They don't prove to you why the United States is very, very unique. Also, we'd say that actually buying from the United States is apparently a good thing because according to the U.S. today in 2018, essentially U.S. cyber sales are seen as a kind of security guarantee. So these countries are going to believe that once they buy from the United States, they have increased security. They don't need to spend as much on conventional weapons because they know that the United States is now dedicated to security. Then on their second argument, so there's a couple of problems here. Number one, we would say that these countries are going to get attacked in either world. According to the CSIS in 2018, since 2006, there's been 108 major cyber attacks from China, 98 from Russia, and only 9 from the United States. So it's highly unlikely that the United States is the country that is doing all these cyber attacks. Their evidence at the top of their contention says that, the United States spends the most. But the United States also needs to pay the most, and we develop very advanced cyber attacks. However, in the Middle East and Africa, these places you only need to do very minor cyber attacks, and the United States is probably it. Lastly, we'd say that their evidence that they say, the United States is driving this Middle East conflict. It's not what it says. It says, in the past, the United States' cyber operations have driven an arms race, and then also, now Iran is scared. It is not actually causal to our current cyber attacks, and this resolution is phrased in the present tense. We say these countries already know that it's a very big threat. This is why there are 3 times evidence isn't very good. The 3 times increase in the probability of spending on cyber weapons is not very important because we say this is historical. These countries already know that the cyber attack is very, very prominent right now, so they're probably going to increase spending regardless. Lastly, on their social spending argument, according to Jawad 15, in the Middle East, only about a quarter of social spending goes to the lowest quintile of the people. The vast, actually 15%, and most of the other goes to the upper middle class. We say they're going to cut from there first because those matter the least for stability. So I'm going to start on my case on the return on our second contention about the security of drones. Turn study, allies, judges. Start on the term where they tell you that our allies will develop fewer offensive cyber operations because we provide security about a few things. One, we're really selling them weapons that they have to pay for, and we tell you that the majority of the cost of these weapons, according to Brookings, is in maintaining them. And that means as long as they're getting these weapons at a faster pace, maintaining them is only becoming more expensive. The second of all, it doesn't matter a lot because offensive spending is 113 times cheaper than defensive spending, and that's the type of spending they would have to do after the United States. And then third of all, we tell you it's also small in scope because we have 10 allies compared in the Middle East North Africa compared to 48 enemies. That means that affecting our enemies is going to matter more, which is why we're going to win on our second one. But then, go to their case where they first talk to you about terrorism. We tell you first of all that their impact is exclusively in Iraq and Syria, whereas we tell you that increasing social spending increases terrorism everywhere. Because California University of Michigan tells you that poverty through causes terrorism, spiking poverty increased terrorism by 80%. But then our New York Times evidence tells you poverty against ICE were ineffective because even though we took down certain of their internet content, they just re-uploaded it and their internet it only expanded. And then we also tell you that Britain, France, Australia, Canada, and all these countries also attacked via cyber operations. This is not that unique to the United States. Then go to the second contention where they tell you that you have another option instead of going to war with Iran. First of all, Charlotte's theory tells you it's rarely another option because we don't think cyber operations do enough damage to make us feel secure. For example, Reuters tells you Iran's cyber defenses fall for a base attack in just a few days. That means that they're not confident enough that cyber attacks are effective enough to stop war. But then second of all, we tell you, according to Sharma, that it's more likely a force multiplier. We are more likely to engage in war because we can use cyber operations alongside war, and it makes these conventional operations more effective. And then we also tell you that, according to the Times of Israel, that we have used freedom of navigation operations in the Strait of Hormuz and other means to deter Iran besides just cyber operations. But then we tell you that the U.S. will always avoid war with Iran, and that Trump was just saying rhetoric when he said he would strike them. According to Nichols of the Nation, you would need congressional approval for any military strike in Iran based on a new congressional legislation passed this year. That means that this strike would never have happened. Even if we struck, it wouldn't have escalated into war because A, Iran knows they would lose, so they wouldn't want to engage in this type of war, and B, they want to maintain their nuclear deal with Europe. But then on their impact about oil prices. First of all, Stratfor tells you the market's already oversupplied, and the G7, US, and IEA have strategic petroleum reserves that will stabilize the oil market. If anything, oil prices going up is good because Mrs. Georgia Tech tells you 65% of the variation of investment into renewable energy can be explained based on investment into oil prices because when oil prices go up, we tell you that there is a greater incentive for renewables because they're comparatively cheaper. Then go to the third contention on deterrence. First of all, generally, the Washington Post tells you that deterrence is unlikely through cyber operations because A, they don't impose significant costs in the civilian realm, mostly the cyber realm. B, they're very easy to plug. And third, there's a much less asymmetrical advantage in the cyber warfare, so people are much more likely to continue to engage. It doesn't really deter anyone. If anything, you can turn it for a couple reasons. One, Clayton of Harvard tells you that we allocate resources away from defense and into offense when we're conducting offensive cyber operations to make us more vulnerable to attacks and only embolden people to conduct more attacks. But second of all, the ATAO tells you people will reverse engineer our tactics. They see how we do it, and then they do it back onto other countries. And third of all, Clayton of Harvard tells you it increases distrust among our adversaries who can't distinguish how significant of an attack is, and they're prone to miscalculation and striking back even more so. But then we tell you that their whole uniqueness is wrong. According to their case, there should be less escalation occurring right now. But in fact, our Brookings evidence tells you that all Middle East and North African countries have doubled or tripled their military spending since the early 2000s. We tell you their problem is only getting worse right now. Then they tell you that the military systems are really connected to the internet and they can be hacked, and that'll make the U.S. defenseless. But the Washington Post tells you that our nuclear facilities and other important military facilities are purposely offline so they cannot be hacked. They say Russia and China could attack us, and that because the U.S. would no longer be like a big hegemon in the cyberspace. But the U.S. is still a large global hegemon in the economic sphere and conventional military sphere, so if they launched these types of attacks, the U.S. would still have very significant deterrence effects because it could impose sanctions or could launch conventional military operations, especially if they did the type of damage they talk about where they're going to destabilize the entire globe. But then we also tell you that their impact is super vague. They just say that they're going to deter all the different escalations. Russia doesn't engage in Eastern Europe, they fear a response from NATO. China had to deter China as they concede a crossfire using our Navy. India and Pakistan both have nuclear weapons, so they never want to engage in conflict with one another. In North Korea, there's also a fear of a U.S. nuclear response as well as a South Korean conventional response to South Korea's strong in North Korea. That means there are lots of other reasons why actors are not engaging in these domains. They never provide a direct link from the U.S. stop conducting offensive cyber operations to escalation in any one of these spheres. Stop the urgency.
Everyone ready? Okay, starting now. So just what was your third warrant for your first response to our first Wait, your Washington Post thing? Wait, I didn't really catch it. Wait, your first contention? Our third contention. Your first response and the third warrant. Oh, the reasons why, yeah. So it doesn't deter. Oh, my paper's all the way over there. Wait, so I said one is the first reason that it doesn't deter
Like
them,
not significant cost.
not significant cost.
Second, it's easy to equalize, and then third is
The advantage of the U.S. in the cyber domain is comparatively less asymmetrical than like the conventional domain. So a country is more likely to, if they face a cyber threat, to retaliate because they know that they even if they're not quite as strong as the United States, they can still want to cause significant damage to the U.S. in the cyber domain. Whereas if the U.S. wants to take a military strike, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Could I ask you a question? Yeah. So on your contention, like on deterrence, like what do you think is like the most likely? We have a bunch of different scenarios. Like, what do you think is like the most likely scenario for the launch of U.S. cyber operations? Like, where is it most likely to cause?
I think like Russian incursions in like Scandinavia.
Okay, so can we work our way through that? So can you like show me like what is the link chain between like U.S. cyber operations go away and like Russia attacks
So like
Scandinavia?
NATO offers a lot of like, even though we aren't specifically allies with like Sweden or like Estonia, Poland, etc., like we do offer a lot of security guarantees. When we do say like, oh, Russia can do something, they will attack back. We will attack back, right? So if Russia has something like a decrease in political popularity, or they simply want to take some land back, they will invade. However, that doesn't mean they have to take land permanently, right? When they invaded Georgia in 2008, Estonia in 2009,
I get it.
they didn't take
Sure,
land.
even if they don't get land permanently, I'm not even making that response. I just don't understand how U.S. cyber operations are the reason why they're deterred.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you tell me they're afraid of a U.S. attack. Couldn't that U.S.
I'm not saying they're
couldn't-
afraid of a U.S. attack.
I mean,
I'm
why
saying-
would they invade Estonia right now?
That's what?
Why don't they invade? Why don't they invade European countries right now?
Because we can potentially respond.
In
protect
what?
these
With
countries.
what?
With conventional warfare.
So why can't we respond to conventional warfare? in the
Because
world?
we are dramatically at a big disadvantage if we do not have cyber weapons to support our kinetic warfare.
So you're saying that even though we have like nuclear weapons, airstrikes,
Are we
drones,
going
all
to
these things,
nuke
it won't be
Russia?
enough?
Are we going to nuke Russia? If
I'm not saying that we necessarily will, but
Okay.
the risk that a conflict, like conventional conflict
Russia,
between the U.S. and
Russia
Russia
does not
nuclear
believe
weapons
the
is the
United
reason why they
Russia
wouldn't
does
attack.
not believe that. Okay, so in either world, nukes
I'm
exist,
sure-
right? But Russia makes calculated decisions when they do incursions.
What about Britain, France, or any of the other countries
No
in
country's
NATO that
gonna
have?
nuke
No, I'm not saying
Russia.
nuke. I'm not saying nuke, but I'm saying any of those other countries
Those
that have
countries
cyber
don't have
operations.
the same kind of conventional cyber strength as the United States right now. If the United States power dramatically decreases,
So you're saying
then
that-
Russia
that
will
you're
become more
saying-
aggressive.
So you're saying, but I don't understand how dramatic it is. How important are cyber
So,
operations to the success of
Obviously, this is
military operations?
contestable, right? But
Like,
we're
how
going to
so-
argue. We're
so
going to
how-
argue. We're going to argue that cyber domain is one of the most important domains in
Most
maintaining
important
your-
domains, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it
If-
does.
How
Yes, it
much?
does.
Couldn't
People
you
can hack
think that
into-
the U.S.'s conventional strength is still strong enough that Russia would be deterred?
If
by
it
it?
significantly decreases, it doesn't matter, right? Because the United States is more powerful than Russia right now. If it significantly decreases, Russia can become more aggressive.
I'll share on my opponent's case, then move on to our third contention. Everyone ready? Actually, I'll talk about our first and second contention also. Starting now. Two turns my opponent's draw. The first of which is countries buy weapons from the United States, the second would be a lot cheaper to get these weapons rather than create them on their own, which would cost more money and lead to more decreasing political spending. This is going to be very, very important because insofar as this is true, we're going to get cheaper weapons from the United States, which we linked to their impact. The other thing that they draw is that countries get a security guarantee from the perceptions of the United States. But when the United States sells weapons to these nations, they have a perceptual change, and they think that they're allied with the United States, which they're going to stop increasing their offensive cyber operations spending because they think that they're more safe, because they have an economic advantage, specifically in cyber operations with the United States. None of these go responding to, and they're clear link turns on their impact. They probably should respond to them in second rebuttal. That's an obligation of it. On to our case. On our argument about another option, they read a few turns, how they double turn themselves when they say that offensive cyber operations can increase conflict, when they say conflict is good because it increases green technology. This is a double turn, so you probably shouldn't be evaluating it. On our third contention, they read a ton of responses. The first of which is all about how deterrence is going to be not applied in cyberspace. However, first of all, I'm going to frontline this. First of all, deterrence in the cyberspace is not our argument. Our argument is that offensive cyber operations are key for conventional weapon systems, or is going to be key for offensive cyber, or is going to be key for conventional deterrence rescue from expanding. Our argument is that Sharma from UC Santa Cruz says that cyber is key for warfare right now, which is really important because our military can be hacked easily. But if we throw away our cyber operations, it's like throwing away our air force and nuclear weapons. Other countries can still hack into us, but we can't do anything to them. For instance, with the boats in the South China Sea, China could hack into our boats and sink them, but we couldn't do anything back. Because they have a battlefield advantage, we have less deterrence overall. This is going to be very important because even if there's even if the countries are going to be taken over, there's going to be massive expansions and more provocations, which leads to millions of deaths, trillions of dollars lost, according to our Hansen evidence from the countries addressed. And there's also going to be massive increases in social spending, which is also linked to my opponent's impact. Decreases in social spending, which links to my opponent's impact. First response they read is that deterrence does not happen. First of all, because there's not a lot of cost coming from cyber operations. Now, this is not true. Cyber operations have a large cost in the battlefield when they hack into airplanes and things like this. These are massive changes. The second thing they say is it's easy to catch up to the United States. However, this is a reason for you to vote for us. Because it's easy for countries to become very strong in cyberspace. The United States also needs to stay in this field in order to maintain stability. Their third response is that Hold on, I can't read this. Oh, yeah. People are always going to have, like, the United States is always going to have some sort of asymmetrical advantage absent cyber operations. However, we're going to say the asymmetrical advantage is also going to go down if we stop cyber operations because cyber operations are the linkages to asymmetrical advantage. Their next response is that defense often straight up. However, defense is really bad because you have to, in order to do defense correctly, you have to find every single vulnerability and plug every single one. But for offense, you only have to find one vulnerability again. That's why the small world journifying is 1,000 times less effective to do defense, which is why you should always be prioritizing offense if we don't have a chance of winning. Then, they see that's going to increase distrust and miscalculation will go up. However, we're going to also argue that our case is going to increase distrust and miscalculation a lot more when there's a fundamental change in the power structure of the world. Then they try to say that escalation is occurring right now. We argue it's going to get worse. Then they see that all the weapons are offline. That's only our nuclear weapons. Our conventional weapons like our boats and our airplanes and stuff like that are definitely online. Finally, they try to say that the United States is still going to have sanctions. However, sanctions fail because these countries already have bad economies. They want to get a rally around the flag effect. And then they say we have conventional weapons. Our arguments conventional weapons are harmed. And then lastly, they say our impact is not very likely. We're not talking about countries taking over areas. We're talking about more provocations will lead to more damages.
So, I'm gonna start with my case. I'm gonna go up to address the term after that. We said the United States is spurring an arms race in the Middle East. Our argument is not about whether these countries spend on cyber or not, it's about the rate at which they spend. We tell you the U.S. is conducting the majority of attacks in the Middle East and North Africa. They tell you which countries do we strike. We strike Libya, Lebanon, Syria, Kuwait, Iran, the list goes on and on and on. And we tell you that for every one of these strikes, it triples the probability that these nations spend much more on their cyber defense. A great example is Iran. We attacked them in 2010. They poured 12 times as much money into their cyber defensive capabilities. They paid for that by taking 6 million people off of food stamps. They tell that Russia and China are also attacking the region. But the main way they're engaging in the cyber realm in this region is by selling defensive technologies to their allies, which are our adversaries. We attack a country like Iran, then Russia and China sells them a defensive technology, where the U.S. is still the root cause of this kind of escalation. Then, we'll tell you that this problem's only going to get much worse as Trump has been increasing the rate of attacks fourfold, causing overall cybersecurity spending in the Middle East to double to $24 billion. They tell you this isn't much of total military spending in the region. It's 1/3 of total military spending in the Middle East and North Africa. What we tell you is that that's going, and the total social spending budget of the region is $60 billion. That's going to be half of their total social spending. It's a very large impact. What we tell you in the Middle East specifically, what we see is every time military spending goes up, social spending goes down. These countries don't have access to credit markets. They must pull from other parts of their budget, and that's because they have trouble running deficits. That's why Hassan of the FPRE tells you for every 10% increase in military spending, we see an increase in poverty of 9.8% as these countries cut critical programs like healthcare, education, and other kinds of welfare programs. They tell you that most of these kinds of welfare benefits go to like 3/4 of them go to richer citizens. But what we would tell you is that the kind of benefits that go to richer citizens won't be cut because the reasons why these corrupt regimes are giving them to richer citizens is because these citizens have more influence in the country. They're trying to placate them. They're co-opting them. In fact, we would argue that they're going to cut from the poorer section first because these people have much less influence. They're not going to protest that much. The richer citizens are much bigger, more upset. But even if you buy none of that, if we're taking out half of the total region social spending or near to half, social spending budget that lifts 50 million people out of poverty every year, we argue many people are going to be left behind in poverty. Now let's move on to the two terms. They tell you it's cheaper to buy weapons from the U.S. They don't respond to what Ben Reed can rebuttal. Says that maintenance is the main cost. In UAE, they buy a lot of their weapons from the U.S. Half their military budget goes to maintaining those weapons. They tell that the security guarantee goes up when we conduct operations. First, we still have a conventional security guarantee, and we would argue that our enemy spending on cyber matters much more because we only have 10 allies versus 48 enemies in that region. Then let's go into their case. They tell you that like cyber is really key for warfare, and that our military can be hacked. And they give this example of boats and airplanes. We would argue a lot of these aren't connected to the internet. And remember, we still have cyber defense. We can protect them. And the U.S. has the best cyber technology in the world. We're pretty good at defense. And they never show you how much capability Russia and China actually have to take down all of our airplanes or all of our warships. And so far as they can't take down all of them, there's still probably going to be a really big response. And it's not worth it for China to like attack Taiwan or for Russia to take all these territories in Northern Europe that they don't really need. They already got the territories that they need. Then they say that, okay, their impact here is that the U.S. would have less of an advantage. That might be true, slightly less, a marginal decrease, but that doesn't trigger their impacts of Russia suddenly invading the whole region. We still, overall, have very large conventional capacity that deters these actors. For these reasons, please be dangerous.
All right, you ready for drain prop? Yeah. All right, you guys can take the first question. Do we want to do this? Okay. Yeah. So. Okay.
So on your case, you said that the U.S. would have less of a conventional advantage if we didn't have cyber operations.
Yeah. Actually, that's the evidence we showed you guys.
Okay. I didn't read it. I was like,
I mean, it just said that there is a potential for things to be.
No, it says every single program has a mission critical vulnerability in it.
But that doesn't mean that like China's the capability to hack all of our conventional weapons all at once.
Well, that doesn't matter. If they can significantly decrease our power, that's still very
Do
important.
they have those capabilities? to
Yeah.
Significantly.
It literally says every program has a mission critical cyber vulnerability.
Yeah, but it costs a lot of money. Like our offensive cyber operations cost $60 billion to hack into
China
2 or 3 of those
costs a lot, too.
vulnerabilities.
And the whole point of cyber defense is that like when we're attacked, we
Well,
can.
you don't
we can
respond to
fight
that
off.
else that says it takes 1,000 times to get defense.
Right, but no, we're not talking about the trade-off. We're just saying that
No, we're saying
because of
defense is
cyber
very
defense,
ineffective.
our military
We're saying
can't.
defense is very ineffective and China can definitely.
Even if they can, sure. So maybe you're saying it's ineffective because you can't patch every hole. We're saying so even if you can't patch every hole, that's not enough to
No, we're
trigger
saying to
impact
reach
because if
parity
they
with the
disable a
attacker.
few American military
No.
systems,
The evidence
it's still not
says to reach parity with the attacker, right? So our argument, if we can prove to you that like China is willing to hack into our systems and they would invest to it, I would say China would get significantly increased power.
Okay, but even if they hack into a certain number of our systems, you need to prove that they were hacking into enough of our systems
No, we
to
don't.
prevent a serious U.S. retaliation. That's still
No, we
the case,
don't.
right?
Well, yeah, like we would say that if they can hack into
But I mean,
our
that's a
systems.
very specific.
It says
that's
all
a
of our
pretty high
programs are mission critical vulnerabilities. Also, I don't think this response was in like rebuttal. They
Which
can
one?
hack into all
Which
of our
one?
systems.
I mean, I did argue that the conventional advantage still exists, so as long as we have like cyber defense.
Well,
But
that
even if
that's not the response that you're making. You're
Well,
making
the
that
response
we
that we're
prove
making is that so as long as America has it, with the response we've made the whole round is so as long as America still has a conventional advantage and economic advantage and all these other advantages, countries are still going to fear launching these widespread attacks all over the world. That's always been our argument. That you're taking away a marginal increase in our advantage, but so as long as your partner concedes, it's just a marginal decrease in an asymmetrical advantage. That's why he literally said, well, maybe not marginal, but he said it's a decrease. He says it's a decrease in advantage. A decrease in advantage still means you have some advantage.
No,
And as long as
the
you
United
guys,
States has a more powerful military around the world, but Russia and China have been aggressive in the South China Sea. Decreases in American power encourage them to be more aggressive.
even if they're
because they can
slightly
test
more
us.
aggressive, like that's such a
It's
big
not
impact.
slightly,
Your
like,
your
they can
impact
hack
is
into every
entirely
system.
unquantifiable. It doesn't have any exact examples of
Your
how
impact
much
is
worse
pretty
it would get.
unquantifiable too,
What do you
right?
mean, $24 billion out of a $60 billion
You don't
budget?
attribute
That's
that
like a
to
much
the
more
United
quantifiable
States.
impact than increased provocations, maybe
Wait,
by
you
China,
need to-
maybe
you
by
need to
Russia.
tell
But
me-
there's so many
so
different
how much
scenarios,
of this money
reasons why they
specifically
don't.
from the United States?
What?
How much money specifically from the United States?
Well, we tell you they're the majority of attacks, so it's likely that the majority of the increase.
No. You tell me
The
United
main-
States
the
the
main cybersecurity
right? But you
No,
don't respond to my
we
response.
read, Elias read in summary that the majority of attacks from the Middle East.
The majority of American attacks in the Middle East.
No, the majority of cyber attacks come from
in the
America.
Middle East.
Come from America.
The majority of attacks in the Middle East come from America.
Yeah, and then like the list of countries.
You just said it was. I don't remember you saying. Like,
He
what
said
was
the majority of
what was
attacks.
source?
He said the majority of attacks. You
Yeah.
can see it if you want.
Alright, we're gonna like throw out.
Everyone ready? I'm going to start by extending the two terms and then we'll move on. Starting now. Let's start on my opponent's case. There's two terms that they really mishandle. First of all, they talk about maintaining in response to our idea that buying from the United States is comparatively better. However, our turn outweighs their this first one. The reason why is because when you develop your own cyber weapons, you still need to maintain your own cyber weapons. If anything, you need to maintain them more because you're hiring your own contractors. You need to maintain those as well. So we develop and maintain. You have an increase in cyber spending, so it's trying to. Second of all, we tell you about outweighing in terms of selling these weapons to our allies. They say that only 10 of these countries are our allies. Number one, we don't only need to sell weapons to our allies, we can sell to like neutral countries as well. But perhaps more importantly, they also don't cite this like 1046 card. So it's very, very uncredible to us. But perhaps more importantly, we think the security guarantee outweighs this idea of just cybersecurity in general. And the reason why is the security guarantee also offers things like conventional defense and cyber defense. Because the United States, once they have a relationship with you, they're more likely to defend you. So the comparative decrease in spending is still very, very high. So we say their impact at best is very, very marginal. Also, their arguments on green technology, they double turn it, which means actually we say that oil prices if they go up to $150 a barrel, that's going to drastically decrease the amount of climate change. And everyone's listening to climate change statistics around the world. If we drastically increase the investment in green technology, that can affect millions of people around the world, 100% probability because it's a conceded double turn. Also very high probability. Moving back to our case. So, there's a lot of responses here. First of all, they say like we have the best defense in the world, and like how can we match all of them? However, we tell you there's a 1,000 times comparative advantage to offensive defense in order to reach parity. They say like it's not worth it. These countries will like believe that the United States will impose some sort of sanctions or things like that. However, if these countries have a comparative increase, even if they don't still have this relative decrease in amount of like
less powerful than the United States, you're still going to become more aggressive. Russia is less powerful than the United States, but you become more aggressive than the United States, has a relative decrease in power. Then they say there's a marginal decrease. No, our evidence says that cyber is key for warfare right now. You need to do things like communicate between airplanes and ships. You need to do things like the F-35 has 3.2 million lines of code. So it's pretty clear that these are very, very important. And they do not respond to the Pogo evidence that we read in our own case. They only try to deal with it in crossfire, but it's still absolutely crucial in this round. We tell you there's absolutely mission-critical vulnerabilities around the world. There's increases in conflict, and we've frontlined everything. And we say it's much, much clearer that it's outweighs on conventional spending as well.
All right, we're gonna run.
Alright, not going to ready. Ultimately, we tell you we're telling a much clearer and quantifiable story than they are. We tell you the United States conducts the majority of cyber attacks in the Middle East, North Africa, meaning Libya, Lebanon, Iran, Afghanistan, and in all of these countries, every single U.S. attack triples the probability that they develop stronger cyber defenses. We give you the example of Iran. We increased their spending by 12-fold and kicked 6 million people off food stamps. We tell you that Trump is only making this worse by conducting more attacks, which is why we tell you because the United States cyber spending in this region is doubling by 2024, and that it's now going to become a third of their military spending. That's an additional $24 billion of spending out of only a $60 billion budget, which is drastically cutting social spending. And every 10% increase in military spending increases poverty 9.8% because they're forced to cut these social programs. They can see the poor will be cut first, and that means that there will be 58 million people who are otherwise out of poverty who are now at risk because these social programs are being gutted. They only make a couple of responses. The first thing, they tell you that it's cheaper for them to develop to buy from the United States. But first of all, at the point the majority of the cost is maintenance, this slight cost of developing weapons is very minimal. But second of all, remember that to both of these terms are both about allies. We have 10 allies versus 48 enemies. You shouldn't be voting here. Enemy spending matters a lot more. But then they tell you that we create a security guarantee. First of all, as long as they're buying weapons, it's not really a guarantee because they're conducting attacks on their own. But second of all, we tell you there's still a conventional security guarantee. They don't respond to this. There is still a security guarantee. Then on climate change, they detail to them in summary to drop the climate change turn. But even if they don't really impact the climate change to a final focus, you really should not vote here. Then we tell you onto their case. First of all, we tell you that there are still defenses that will protect all American military from being hacked. That's why America still has hegemony in so many other realms, including the economic realm. We tell you that the majority of America's hegemony is definitely not from cyber. And then we tell you that they can face a really large U.S. response from these attacks. So, and they can face a large U.S. response from other actors. In the case of India and Pakistan, that'd be Pakistan. In the case of China, that would be other actors in the region. That means that there are always reasons why they're not doing the types of provocations that they talk about. We tell you as long as the U.S. still has hegemony, they still fear a U.S. response and other responses. At the end of the day, their impact is so vague. We tell you an entire region has to cut social spending. They tell you in maybe some places, they don't tell you how many, there'll be a marginal increase in provocations, but they don't tell you how many provocations, how much it does. It's not a good place to vote. Thus, we urge you to engage.